up, y'all? It's your girl Armonee Michelle, and I'm back with another video. So as you probably noticed, the setting for this video is just a little bit different than the rest of my videos. Of course, you guys have been requesting story time, story time, story time. So I'm gonna give that to you, but with a little twist. So I'm actually about to start preparing dinner, but I thought, why not prepare dinner while giving you guys a story time? Yeah, I know. Perfect idea. Tonight, we are going to be making salmon Alfredo lasagna rolls. Mwah. I have never had this before, but you know, TikTok has been having me in a chokehold lately, and I seen somebody make it on my timeline, so I thought, why not run to the store, get the stuff that I need, and make it. Quick disclaimer, this is not going to be a step-by-step recipe, but what I will do for those that are interested in making this dish, I will leave the link to the TikTok video below where you can follow along with their steps, and I think she also lists the recipe for you as well. The focal of this video is going to be more story time than anything else, so let's kick off this story time. First, let me wash my hands. Done. Okay, so today's story time is going to be about the time that I was invited out to eat with someone and they dined and dashed, and I almost went to jail because of it. Ooh. Let's get right into it. Okay, first things first, this story time happened back when I was in high school. I was either a sophomore or a junior at the time. Let's give the guy in the story time a name. We can call him George. So George and I weren't anything serious. I mean, I was only in high school at the time. We were texting for a little while. We did not go to the same high school, by the way. That's kind of important to this story. But anyways, we were texting for a little while, and he used to always tell me that he wanted to take me out to eat. Well, one weekend comes and he invites me to go out to eat with him after one of his games because he played football for his high school team. He also told me to bring a friend because he wasn't going to be alone. So I hit up one of my homegirls at the time. We gonna call her Becky. I hit up Becky and I'm like, hey girl, this boy I talked to named George, he wants us to meet with him and one of his buddies out to eat after they play in their football game at their high school. So Becky reaches back out and she's basically like, hell yeah girl, I'm down. Now I wasn't driving at this time, but she was, which was kind of a big deal being in high school. Well, at least back when I was in high school, everybody didn't have a car, nor did everybody all have their license at the same time. So that Saturday comes and she comes over my house and she's helping me pick out what I'm gonna wear. Thinking back on it now, I feel kind of silly, but we did kind of dress up for the occasion. I remember having on like a skirt and like a little dressy top with like a long like shawl type thing and some sandals. That might not sound dressy today, but back in the 2014, 2015 era, that was considered dressing up. George texted me telling me that they had won their high school football game and that they were on their way to the local Applebee's. Once Becky and I were satisfied with our hair, our outfits, we decided to leave the house and go ahead and head that way. So we get up to the Applebee's and I texted him like, hey George, you know, me and my friend are here. We're outside, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, okay, we're already in here. We've already been seated, but we haven't ordered yet. Come in and you'll see us. So we get out the car and we go into Applebee's. Now, when George told me to bring a homegirl, I'm thinking that, you know, it's because it's gonna be him and maybe one other guy from his football team, and it was gonna be like a double date type of deal. I was mistaken. Once me and Becky walked up to the boys, I noticed that not only was it him and one other guy from his football team, but the entire football team. You guys, they were literally taking up one whole section of the Applebee's. So my friend and I went and sat at a table with him and 2 of his other friends because they had saved us a seat specifically to sit by them. Dating back then was really a headache. The men were even more immature than they are now. I mean, I guess it's because we were all teenagers, but I just remember us going, and me personally, I was just kind of turned off because George was acting like a true butthead. He was just doing things like taking the paper part of his plastic straw and blowing it across the table at people. He was making pretend fart sounds with his mouth. He was being extra loud and almost obnoxious. Looking back on it, I'm thinking maybe he was just trying to show out because there were 2 pretty girls around. Maybe he was nervous. I don't know. But nonetheless, he was really getting on my nerves. And to top things off, if I can remember correctly, my friend really wasn't feeling the guy that they specifically had set up to talk to her. So, you know, I think us girls can relate to the fact that we have our own language and that we can speak to each other without even talking. So we kind of gave each other the look, just basically agreeing that this wasn't the move and that we wouldn't be staying long. So when it came time to order, I remember the waitress coming up to the table, and she already looked a little bit annoyed because there were so many people in her section. I remember her going around to each table and asking everybody one by one what would they like to order. Now remember, Becky and I had already kind of agreed that we weren't interested in staying too much longer. So we both declined her offer to order. And the guys are like, wait, you guys aren't eating? And we're like, no, we just ate, you know, coming up with some BS excuse. And the waiter is like, you don't even want a water? And we were like, no, we're fine. So she proceeds to take the rest of their orders. Me and Becky, we were just texting each other back and forth, trying to decide how and when we were going to abort mission. And this is the part where I admit that we should have just went with our gut instinct and left right then and there. But no. This is what happens when you ignore your intuition. We waste so much time sitting there trying to contemplate when we're gonna leave and how we're gonna leave, that before you know it, the server comes back out with all of their food. And I remember thinking like, dang, did they have that food pre-made or something? Like, it literally only took her like 20 minutes to come out with those 16 plus orders. So the boys are digging in, they're eating like pigs, they're smacking, they're reaching over each other, they're burping. And my friend and I grew more disgusted as time went on. I think in the moment, I didn't want to come off mean. I knew that I probably would never link with this guy again, but I was so worried about coming off mean or hurting somebody's feelings that I didn't just get up and leave when I really wanted to. And I also forgot to add in that in the section that we were seated at, there was also a like side door that you could only go out of, but you couldn't come inside from that entry. It might have been like an emergency exit, but I just remember us being placed over right by that door. So as they began to finish up eating their food, I remember them getting a lot more quiet than they were. Remember when we first got there, they were real rowdy, real hype, real childish and immature. Well, as they started to finish up their food, they started to get quiet. I noticed them making eye contact with each other a lot. I honestly thought it was just another one of their immature tactics of playing too much, but I didn't think too much of it. Next thing you know, they all start to get up table by table and walk out of the side door. Once all the other tables in that section had gotten up and walked out, we were the last table of the football players left. And I think I had like a dumb blonde moment because it really wasn't dawning on me exactly what they were doing until it was kind of too late. George and his 2 football friends stand up all at once, and George kind of cues for me to get up and go. He's like, so that's when it all hits me. Okay, they're doing a dine and dash. Cool. When they cued for us to get up and go, we kind of just looked at each other. They seen that we were kind of hesitant. They got up and proceeded to walk out the side door, not caring if we were behind them or not. Me and Becky started to talk amongst ourselves, and we were just like, why would we run out the building with them when we didn't eat anything? So once they're out the door, we stand up and start to make our way towards the door. So by the time we were almost to the door, the waitress had already noticed that all the boys in the section got up and left. And before me and Becky could get to the door, her and another waitress stood in front of the door and blocked it with their bodies. And the waitress is like, you guys aren't going anywhere until you pay. So me and Becky are like, we didn't order anything, nor do we have anything to pay for, because when you came around and asked for orders, we specifically told you we didn't want anything to eat or drink because we didn't plan on staying long. And the waitress is like, well, that doesn't matter because I just served this whole section, and since you guys were seated with them, you are going to be responsible for their bill. So the waitress told us that me and Becky would be responsible for paying for 17 orders or going to jail. Ooh. We basically told them that we were not paying because we did not feel like that was fair. So they did proceed to call the police. While they were calling the police, my friend and I kind of came together to discuss what are we about to do to get out of this situation. Mind you, we're high school kids, so neither of us were rich at the time. She had some cash on her. I had a minimal amount of money on me as well, but I do remember the both of us having to call our mothers to tell them what was going on and have them send us some money as well. So if you're wondering, yes, we did end up paying for those meals that we didn't help eat. Also, in the midst of that, I did forget to add that, like a dummy, I don't know why I thought he would come back, I called George and I'm like, hey, they're holding us hostage because you guys left. Can y'all come back and, I don't know, pay for the food you ate? And he was like, no, you should have got it when I told you to. Bitch, what? But lesson learned, honestly. He was showing all the signs and red flags from the very beginning of the dinner. So we really should have just went with our gut instinct and left. We did end up paying once we scraped our money together. Becky was really mad at me for some reason. Oh, my oven's ready. Long story short, after the night played out the way that it did, she was upset with me. And she kind of made it seem like that it was my fault why everything happened the way that it did. I honestly had no way of knowing that that was going to play out like that, or I would have never went to begin with. I brought just enough money to pay for myself to get something to eat, but after me and Becky both decided we weren't interested in any of them and that they were very immature, we weren't going to pay to get anything because we weren't planning on staying long. As we actually ended up staying too long, to the point where it came and bit us in the ass. So yes, we paid for the meals. I think it may have came up to like $300 something. And yeah, that was that. This wasn't the longest story time, you guys, and I do apologize, but what I will say is that ladies, beware of broke ass niggas that like to dine and dash. I mean, we were in high school, but still, if you don't have the money to eat, why go out to eat? I don't know. And we're offering to take me out to eat, but you obviously didn't have the money to pay for me nor yourself. So going out to eat shouldn't have been in your vocabulary, sir. Now should it? Ooh. But yeah, guys, that's the story time about the time where this guy that invited me out to eat dine and dash with the rest of his football team, and me and one of my friends almost went to jail. What I'm doing right now is I'm finishing up the last bit of prepping my lasagna to go into the oven. I have already cooked the fish, seasoned everything, made the spinach dip, and created the sauce. Like I stated at the beginning of this video, this is not a cooking, vlogging, step-by-step tutorial. This was just me giving you guys a story time as I prepare dinner. Like I said, if you are looking for a step-by-step tutorial, I am going to link the actual TikTok for my inspiration down below, and you guys can follow along there. But I am going to still do you guys some justice and show you the finishing results so that you don't think that I was over here cooking air. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this story. We are almost at 800 subscribers, you guys. Give it up. Give it up. This channel is just growing and growing and growing. And honestly, I cannot thank you guys enough. I appreciate everybody who takes the time out to like the videos, who takes the time out to share, subscribe, because I really wouldn't be this far without each and every one of you. But I'm gonna stop rambling. If you have reached this far, you are now at the end of the video. Stay tuned. At the very end, I'm going to show you guys the end results of my lasagna. But thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and do not forget to subscribe and turn those post notifications on so that you can be notified the next time that I upload. See you guys in the next one. Bye.